The most anticipated earnings releases for the week of May 13, 2024. Presented by earningswhispers. Quite frankly, 350 companies with analyst coverage reporting earnings this week will be a welcome relief after well over 1,200 last week. Earnings will pick up some over the subsequent 2 weeks before we go into the slower month of June. Do you think Workhorse is going to make it? It hasn't exactly been good times for EV companies, and Workhorse is probably had a tougher time than most. There certainly are a lot of people betting against it, and the fact that we don't know when the company is going to report earnings by now is a concern. This week is the latest the company has gone, and we've heard nothing from it about when it will report. Despite the bull market and strength among the financials, fintech hasn't exactly been a great investment of late. Well, unless you have Bitcoin. Still, trends have been positive for StoneCo, the Brazilian fintech, and those trends are expected to continue after the company reports on Monday, after the close. Before the open, Legend Biotech will report earnings, but those earnings don't really matter because the story is the potential future revenue from Carvacti. Tuesday morning we will hear from Alibaba, which has really just been trading with other China names, but we've started to see some strength in the group of late, and the chart has the makings of a potential bottom and a recent breakout. How it reacts to earnings might be the deciding factor. Despite rising interest rates and tighter lending standards, the housing market has held up quite well, and seemingly every quarter, data checks show light results for Home Depot, but the company has mainly delivered and the stock has done fairly well. This time around, expectations from both analysts and investors are for roughly in-line results. This time last year, shares of Cisco were trading around $48 after the company reported positive results. After a couple of disappointing results lately, the stock has been back trading around $48 for the past 6 months as well. Analysts are starting to favor the stock, but that is in anticipation of improving trends later down the line, and there seems to be little in the data supporting it during the recent quarter. Monday.com will report in the morning on Wednesday. Monday on a Wednesday should be a red flag right there, but it looks like IT budgets have been tighter than expected, and that is a headwind for the company. We'll get results from Walmart before the open on Thursday, and that is the earnings release that is likely to have the biggest impact on the overall stock market. We can sum up expectations with one word: resilient. After the close on Thursday, appliedmaterials is expected to tell us that demand for high-bandwidth memory associated with AI is expected to boost its DRAM business. RBC Bearings reported disappointing results last quarter on lower margins, but the stock has held up well. The weak results last quarter lowered the bar some for this quarter, making it easier for the company to beat when it reports Friday morning. You may not believe this based on some of the moves from last week, but the magnitude of earnings moves has fallen recently, and we've generally seen volatility get crushed on earnings. If that continues this week, then selling options for most names will pay, particularly for these movers. The interesting one, though, is Innovative, which reports after the close on Wednesday, but was supposed to report last week. Companies tend to delay bad news, and, in this case, the company said it needs time to complete the accounting analyses related to certain matters, and traders have bet that the stock is going to see a bigger than average move when it tells us what it found. Looking out into the middle of June, we can see Broadcom and Adobe as two of only a few companies that have already scheduled that far out. Shh.